Concept of traffic restraint. Restrain the use of private car. Increase the use of public transport. To create impediments for traffic. Initiatives to increase bicycle and pedestrian traffic. Make private travel more difficult and costly. Generally combines the idea of the need for 1. Safer transport environment. 2. Environment protection. 3. Reduction of energy consumption. 4. Improve quality of life. Type of constraints. Do nothing. Regulatory. Physical. Fiscal.
There are 4 types of measure in this topic. The first type of restraint measures is do nothing. For this measure it is also referred as do nothing action. The concept is like live and absorb the problem. A do nothing operates to decrease the level of service because some area, the traffic generation activities have already happened and have reached a firm planning stage. Drivers will eventually make trips during off-peak periods, choose to use alternative routes, and take alternative modes of transport. Do nothing or carrying out only selective improvements are not considered to be realistic long-term options. It should be noted that even a literal do-nothing base case is normally not a no-change one. If the project is located in an area where traffic volume is growing, congestion will increase in the future and the road user costs will increase over time. So there is positive and negative impact regarding to this measure. There are significant problems of environmental impact, road safety risk, congestion, lack of provision for pedestrians and cyclists, and lack of significant opportunity to use alternative modes of travel. It is not a realistic option to allow these conditions to continue and perhaps worsen over time. Next move the second measure.
The next one is physical measures. It is referred as those with barriers providing barrier to the entry of a vehicle that does not have identifiable access rights. Barrier is a fence or other obstacle that prevents movement or access. Road safety barriers allow not only reducing the number of road traffic accidents, but also lowering the severity of accidents. Segregation refers to the physical separation of cyclists from motorized traffic, and can be provided by the following: curbs, curb blips, bollards, soft margins or verges, crash barriers. Segregated facilities include cycle tracks, cycle trails, and cycleways. And the benefits of well-designed segregated facilities include protection from motorized traffic, independence of vehicular congestion, and improved reliability of journey times. Some restraints on vehicle movements are usually targeted at particularly sensitive areas, especially related to access to central business districts, CBDs. The CBD is the focal point of a city. It is the commercial, office, retail, and cultural center of the city and usually is the center point for transportation networks. The cell system introduced in Gothenburg and replicated in some British towns such as Oxford and Leeds, uses physical restrictions on cross-center movements to keep through traffic of private vehicle, but not buses, out of the CBD.
Now I will be explain on restraint measures for regulatory.
What is regulatory measures? Regulatory traffic management has spaces law and uses mandatory and prohibitory traffic sign and marking to inform drivers regarding what they must and must not do in relation to speed, movement and waiting.
Example: traffic sign on road in Malaysia. It is the road safety enforcement system to monitor all federal roads, highways and expressways in Malaysia. Types of AES: speed light camera, camera at accident area/dangerous corner, red light camera to determine limited speed. This is the Kajora system with all the demerit points. Parking control in Malaysia. The parking fees depends on the time and duration used. The parking usually is used at shopping mall. The car park that not paying or park at illegal place will be clamp and compound fees. Black point system. The system based on a number of fixed point that have similarity as Kajora system. For example, a driver who violates road regulations receives black points according to a sheet published by the Department of Transport. Smart radar in Abu Dhabi. In residential area, police patrol cars monitor the speed limit. On highways, movable radars or radar guns monitor the traffic and capture speeding drivers on camera. The radar is called Smart Radar were installed in Abu Dhabi roads in April 2018. Road safety law in Abu Dhabi. Motorcycle riders and motorists who ignore traffic lights will be fined 1,000 and incur a penalty of 12 points. In conclusion, every country have a similarity on the regulatory measures, but the advanced technology used make it more effective. The compound or punishment depends on the country based on their authorities.
The final one is the fiscal measures. It is the fiscal traffic management use of government revenue collection, mainly taxes and expenditure, spending, to influence the use of private vehicles. First example is road user charging. It involves vehicles for their use of road space over a certain area and or during particular time period. It has two main objectives, which is to reduce traffic congestion, control traffic levels, and in relation to improve environmental quality and to reduce noise pollution. It influenced by increasing the cost of traveling by road at certain times, in areas or along certain routes. Also, it helps to utilize the road capacity more effectively and to increase the accessibility. As the city road network has limited capacity, the increasing number of vehicles causes congestion. The road transport system also can be made more efficient through road user charging by stimulating the use of public transport and carpooling. An example. The next one is parking management. Parking management can help to address a wide range of transportation problems, and it is an important subject for the future city development. In inner city areas where parking space is limited, and often uncontrolled, vehicles tend to take over, occupy, all available public space for car parking. The compilation of strategies that can be done: charge higher parking prices and shorter payment periods for more convenient spaces. Prohibit on-street parking on certain routes at certain times. Limit parking duration to encourage turnover and favor shorter-term users. Regulate based on the type of vehicles or users. For example, during peak periods, the most convenient spaces can be dedicated for service vehicles, customers, ride-share vehicles. Other examples such as toll charges of various types, ranging from electronic road pricing to parking charges. Annual registration tax of purchased vehicle. Tax on the use of vehicles such as fuel, road space and company cars. And last one is tax on the use of alternatives to the motor vehicle.
Provision of traffic restraint in Malaysia. This topic is all about the justification and implication of traffic restraint. Justification of traffic restraint. Why need traffic restraint? Traffic restraint is purposely to restrain the use of the private car. To reduce the volume of the traffic, thus lower the level of congestion, especially in the city area. To maintain accessibility levels and increases the use of public transport modes. To increase traveler awareness of private mobility costs at the moment of making trip decisions. To increase the level of safety of users during using the road. To reduce the consumption of energy during traveling, thus improve the environmental condition. To improve the quality of life due to good environment on road. Will improve nation economy through government revenue collection. Encourage the use of public transportation. Free flow of traffic due to low traffic volume. Good health environment. Avoid traffic congestion. Economic growth. Implication of traffic restraint. What we can conclude. The traffic restraint retard the efficiency of traffic movement in order to create restriction on traffic purposely to reduce the volume of traffic at that areas, thus lead in improving the congestion problems in Malaysia. The relation on the issues impacts on the growing of public transportation service that conserving all mobility or accessibility needs in Malaysia, etc. So, holistically, traffic restraint measures may be defined as those that impose a restriction on vehicle use in the mode, time, route, or destination of journeys. Restraint measures are most frequently aimed at the private car and the commercial vehicle. A past review, May 1983, suggested that the reasons for this were concerns that restraint might be unworkable, be ineffective, etc., and involve an unacceptable restriction on freedom of movement. The most important lesson that need to be learned is we cannot simply assume that traffic restraint is acceptable as an end in itself. Traffic restraint system soaring Malaysia upward to better worldwide transportation service. Thanks you for watching. Ramadan Kareem. Provision